What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one, we are going to be talking about how to deal with a breakup like a man. I've got 12 super important points to go over, so make sure you guys stay to the end of the video. And now, why am I ultimately talking about this? Well, it's because heartbreak is a massive, transformative event that happens in every man's life. It's a canon event. Some people get married really early to their high school sweetheart, and they might not experience a ridiculous amount of heartbreak in their life, like some of us that continue to be single all the way through our 20s. But even in those situations, the statistics for divorce aren't so good. So it is quite possible that every single person, even if they're married, even if they have kids, might eventually go through exactly what we're talking about here today. And if you don't want that to be you, I have a quick recommendation for you. Make sure that you guys pray together as a couple, and make sure that you guys go to church together. Go look up the statistics for divorce for people that pray together and go to church together. Just a little bit of an extra bonus tip for those of you guys who are in relationships that want to stay in relationships. Now, breaking up is like sniffing an ammonia smelling salt. Some people break down crying with anxiety. They can't even talk. They don't even know what's going on. While other people use it to deadlift 700 pounds. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about here, if you've ever seen a power lifter before they step up to the plate, they'll sniff out of a little can usually. And sometimes they'll shake it up, they'll sniff it, they'll huff it, and then you'll start to see like almost tears start coming out of their eyes, but then they'll walk up to the platform and rip a new PR. Or they'll bench an incredible amount of weight. If you have ever experienced an ammonia smelling salt, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you also know exactly how it relates to a breakup. What I'm saying is that it's an extremely potent time in a man's life. It's a time of clarity. It's a time for reflection. It's a time of a lot of emotion. There's fight or flight that's going on. And it ultimately can either be used to get a ton of stuff done and accomplish something great, to hit a new PR, to deadlift 700 pounds, or you can self-destruct. You can implode. You can sit in a corner on your hands and knees and cry because the ammonia smelling salt's just too much. There's too much clarity. There's too much going on. You're too overstimulated. The fight or flight is too intense, and you simply can't handle it. All right? So it's either one or the other. Which one are you going to choose? How are you going to handle your breakup? Handle it like a man. And here's 12 points that are ultimately going to help you out very substantially. What you need to understand. Number one, as men, our pain can either make us or it can break us. Just like I said with the ammonia smelling salts. Ultimately, how you think and act determines whether or not this makes you or breaks you. Now, as soon as you come out of a relationship, as soon as you get heartbroken, you need to spin it. It is part of your responsibility as a man to spin the situation. I don't care what the specific situation was and why exactly the relationship fell apart. Every single situation is different. But you need to use this as a time to learn and to grow no matter the circumstances. Even if it was 100% your fault and you cheated and she caught you and you're messed up and you're trying to get her back. Don't ever try to get a woman back, by the way. Even if it's 100% her fault, you caught her cheating. You broke up with her, you can't believe it, you're incredibly heartbroken, everything seems like it's all her fault. I don't care what the situation is, you have to take that pain and you ultimately have to use it to learn and become better. Step number one, part of being a man. Number two, reflection, not obsession. A lot of men start replaying their relationship in their minds and thinking about what could they have done differently. And it's okay to go back and ask yourself, what went wrong? How can I make improvements? In fact, that's actually a very, very important part of the reflection process after you break up, but you can't let it consume your life. I see a lot of men just get wrapped up in, what did I do wrong? How could have things gone differently? And they become obsessed with it. They can't do anything because they're constantly thinking about it. So reflection, not obsession. Number 3 is going to be change the plan. Chances are, especially if you're a wreck after a breakup, you are probably future pacing. What does future pacing entail? Future pacing means that you had an entire picture in your mind of how the next 5, 10, 20, maybe even 30 or 40 years were going to look like. And all of that involved your life with this woman. You were planning everything out. You could see the white picket fence. You were thinking about what you were going to name your kids. This is what future pacing is. And honestly, that's a problem in and of itself. Like, as a man, you should not be future pacing your relationship with a woman. You need to reconstruct the plans that you built inside of your head for the future without her in it. And you have to replace it with something else. Because if there's just this massive gap and you have no idea where you're going, you have no idea what things are going to look like, you start to obsess. And you're not reflecting, you're obsessing, and you're spiraling. All right? So you need to replace those plans. Don't future pace in relationships. This should never ultimately be the case because a woman should be falling into your frame as a man. It's a very, very crucial component of a successful relationship. The woman falls into your frame, you do not fall into hers. What normally happens is even if the woman falls into the man's frame at first, over time, the man gradually loses frame, he becomes more feminized, and the woman starts to be the main frame character. All right? So keep that in mind. She should be coming into your frame, not the other way around. Fix this in your next relationship, and remember, you have to constantly be asking yourself, is this going on? Because if it is, your relationship isn't headed in a good direction. Number 4, you need to remasculinize yourself. Well, what do I mean by this? Most men become feminized as time goes on. This is ultimately a reason why most relationships fail, is because the man becomes incredibly feminized as the woman tends to become more masculinized. The woman takes on more responsibility, more decision making in the relationship because ultimately that's a part of her curse. She wants power over the man. In the story of Adam and Eve, Eve was cursed. God said, you shall seek to control your husband, but he shall rule over you. This is something that the woman is constantly trying to do. She's constantly trying to take control in the relationship. But you have to understand that as a man, and you can't let that happen. You have to stay in your masculine frame. So what does remasculinizing yourself look like? Well, it means focusing back in on your purpose, your work, and your relationship with God. I personally have wrestled with God a lot after multiple of my breakups because there were a lot of times where I thought, why God? Like, why am I in this situation right now? I thought that she was the one. And God was like, nope, she wasn't. I wanted you to have more character development. Fantastic. Thank you for that, God. Don't spite him, don't curse him, but you can wrestle with him. God wants you to wrestle with him, just like Jacob. But you have to cling to him, and you have to ask for his blessing. So remasculinize yourself. Understand what makes you a man, what makes you important to your family, to society, to those around you. Spend more time with other strong masculine characters, other men. All right? Number 5, get back into shape. This is sad that this has to be a point, but it's incredibly relevant. A very, very small percentage of men keep their fitness in check during long-term relationships. Very, very small percentage. I rarely see it happen. Most men lose themselves. This is a sign of them becoming weak. I personally get a lot of divorced guys that hire me for fitness coaching because they fell completely out of shape and now they're on their own. Now they have to get attractive again. They never thought that they were going to have to be attractive to another woman or woo another woman other than their wife for the rest of their life. And all of a sudden, boop, they're dropped into that situation. You're single again. You need to start taking care of yourself. This is ultimately a part of the reason why the relationship probably failed in the first place. You stopped respecting yourself. You stopped respecting your time. You fell out of your masculine frame. Use your body as a way to see if you are maintaining the frame that you are supposed to as a man. As simple as that. If you are falling out of shape, if you are not prioritizing working out, weight training on a regular basis, you're falling behind, man. Like, your body is a reflection of what is going on internally. All right? Number 6, ask yourself a very, very important question post-breakup. How did I simp in this relationship? Because ultimately, women like to use disapproval and emotional manipulation to gain power. And most men end up losing themselves in the relationship, and they start giving too much away, and they eventually become simps. And the woman takes control of the relationship. To give you an example of how this works is if you're in a relationship and a woman asks you, or she just tells you, I just wish that you would help out more. And then you say, well, what do you want me to help out with? And then she says, what do you mean, what do I want you to help out with? There's so many things that I wish you would help me out with. And then the man says, well, tell me what to do that you want me to help with, and I'll do it. And then the woman says, oh, but I don't want to have to tell you what to do. I just want you to do it. This is a form of emotional manipulation where women like to slowly take control in the relationship. Because what this situation does is it gives you something that you're lacking, something that you're supposed to live up to and get better at, but you don't even know what the standard is. You don't even know what you're supposed to be getting better at. It's just clear that she disapproves and that she's not happy. And when she's not happy, most men start simping. They do anything they possibly can to make the woman happy. And the woman is just coming up with random things. She could even just be in a bad mood. She might not even be able to think of a single thing that you actually need to help out with. And yet, she will still act in a disapproving manner. She'll say, really wish you'd help out more. Even if there's absolutely nothing to do. But now you have no idea what you're supposed to be doing, so you're definitely going to fail. And so you start going above and beyond in the relationship to try to make her happy. You start doing all of these extra things. You take her out to dinner more. You spend more time trying to emotionally care for her, be there for her emotionally, help her with the jobs that ultimately go along with what the woman is supposed to be doing in the relationship. You start to cede your power as a man, and you start to become more feminized as your woman becomes more masculinized. So how did you simp in the relationship? Very important question. Number 7, don't rebound. Bad idea. Trust me, you do not want to rebound. I've talked about in other videos how time makes men rational. Time is your friend. Give yourself time to process through emotions and ultimately wait till those emotions are under control before you go back out again. And don't be scared to go back out again. if you feel like you are in control. Because it's great to get out there and find other women, have a relationship with another woman, and show your brain that all of the future pacing that you did, it can still happen. It's just not going to happen with that woman. And it's not that big of a deal. But don't future pace at the same time. But it's one of the ways that you can start to mend your wounds. Number 8, don't fall into the hate all women trap. Super, super common. With the red pill content that is online today, so many men fall into this pit and they start to just hate all women. They become incredibly bitter. They start jerking off. They're watching porn all the time. It's terrible. They become incels. Don't do that. Number 9, take responsibility for not understanding women well in your past relationship. And don't refuse to take responsibility and continue to become more feminine. Because ultimately, we all know that not taking responsibility is a commonly feminine trait. So take responsibility for what happened in the relationship. Understand that there were a lot of things that you could have done better in order for the relationship to actually succeed. Take what you've learned and apply it to your next relationship. Number 10, never want a relationship and never refuse to leave a relationship. These are 2 key points of success for your future relationship that you must refresh in your brain during a breakup period. In fact, you should refresh this in your brain if you are in a relationship. This is an incredibly key component. I'm going to read them again. Never want a relationship. So never think, oh, if I just had a relationship with a woman, if I just had a girlfriend, my life would be complete. Stop telling yourself that lie. Do you know how many marriages end in divorce? Do you know how many people are upset and unhappy in their relationships? Some people can make it seem like their relationship is all sunshine and rainbows from the outside on social media. I personally can only think of 3, maybe 4 relationships that I personally look at and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mind being in that relationship. All of the other relationships, I look at them and I think, yeah, I'm really glad I'm not in that situation. I feel like that's not going to end well. I wouldn't want to live like that. As a man, I want to be bossed around by my wife like that. I would not want to be commanded around by my girlfriend. I would not want to be a slave to her. Look around at the other relationships in your life and understand the lies that you tell yourself when you say, I want a relationship so bad this would solve all my problems. I need a woman. Stop saying that to yourself. Never refuse to leave a relationship. If a woman is disrespecting you, if a woman is trying to constantly get power over you, she is being disobedient, she is being disrespectful, you need to leave. If your boundaries are being crossed, you need to leave. You need to constantly be willing to exercise that ability. Because as soon as you become complacent in the relationship and think she could literally do anything, she could even cheat on me, and I'd be totally fine with it because I'm that complacent in the relationship. And a lot of guys think, oh no, if she cheated on me, I'd be gone. But then guys get cheated on and they're like, I mean, she apologized. She's sad. She's sad about it. She told me she's sorry. She told me she'd never do it again. Oh boy. Yeah, you need to get out of that relationship. Always be ready to leave if that's what needs to be done. Number 11, watch out for lust. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the points, but you need to be incredibly aware that during this time in your life, you are probably losing an outlet for sexual energy. Even if you're not having sex with a woman, she is ultimately receiving energy from you just by you guys being together in a relationship. And when the woman exits the picture, you don't really have a place to put all of that extra energy. So it can go towards work, it can go towards getting back into shape, it can go towards remasculinizing yourself, reflecting, learning from the pain that you're going through. That's where the energy can go. Or it can go to just like beating off all day in your room and watching porn. Very, very common. I've had serious problems with lust after my breakups. But I try to get it together as soon as I possibly can and make sure that I'm utilizing this time. I'm utilizing the ammonia smelling salt to lift as much weight as I possibly can and not just sit around and cry and be useless. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I actually had 11 points, not 12. If you guys realize that, you're awesome. Well done. If you guys watched all the way through to the end of the video, make sure that you guys drop a singular thumbs up down below in the comment section so I know that you guys watched all the way through to the end. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace.